Hey, Wambog World Entertainment, and don't you just love when box office numbers start coming in and all the media and the shield jump and immediately go, oh my god, it's done so much better than we thought. That's exactly what has happened with the Mandalorian and Grogu, except same place, comic book movie has 3 separate articles, because the first article was, as you can see here, the Mandalorian and Grogu set for 167 million global debut after bigger than expected US box office haul. Now, this is when they do that thing which we've discussed, which is we're going to revise the numbers so low that all it has to do is come in like $1 above it, and we're going to say it broke expectations. And then their next headline had to come in, and their headline was The Mandalorian and Grogu opens to $100 million over Memorial Day weekend. Why week 2 will be crucial. Except then they had to come in and say The Mandalorian and Grogu's final 4-day opening weekend numbers are in and they're lower than expected. So we started off from it blew past all expectations to it's made 100 million to actually it shit the bed. And that's exactly what it done, because then you get the headlines of The Mandalorian and Grogu's box office numbers downgraded. It may have missed the $100 million mark claimed by headlines. And in fact, it did. Because here is the box office, ladies and gentlemen. It has been downgraded. It did not make $100 million over its 4-day weekend. Keep that in mind, 4-day weekend. It brought in a total domestically of 98 million. Yeah. But then that international number is incredibly worrying, because that only came in at 69 million. Yeah, the international box office is going to cripple this movie. And here's the thing they kept trying to paint. So, as you can see here, this is the Thursday preview number, 12 million. But then all the articles ran and the shield sites ran with the, oh my god, it opened with $33 million on the Friday. No, it didn't. It didn't open with $33 million on Friday. Because what they always, seemingly, and for some weird reason, neglect to mention is that 33 million includes that 12 million. It didn't make the 33 million. It made less because you have to add Thursday preview. That is what you have to do. And it's just like, okay then. So the Monday it dropped. So this thing has just been dropping. So 12 million on the Thursday. 33.7 million overall. That includes the Thursday previews on the Friday. Then it dropped by 23% down to 25.8 million on the Saturday. Went down further again to 22 million on the Sunday. And the Monday, the Memorial Day, which the holiday, those numbers normally go way back up. They're normally strong numbers. And they actually came in very weak on the Monday, because they only came in at 16.4 million on the Monday. That's actually quite shocking, because the Monday, when it's a bank holiday like that, those numbers normally skyrocket back up. If this movie has opened worldwide to $167.1 million, it has no hope in hell of doing anything in week 2. Week 2 is going to obliterate this thing. I'm talking, people have already been asking, what do you think the percentage it'll drop is? And if you go by the solo numbers and most of the Star Wars, Disney Star Wars movies, the box office drop from week 1 to week 2 is normally in the 60s. I would not put it past this thing at all to drop at least 72%. I swear to God. Now, you've probably seen that other idiot. If you ever watched The Grizzy, he has all of these morons. But there's one in particular and he's still going on about this, that he is absolutely 100% convinced that The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be $1 billion movie. That was what he said, just as is. But he thinks, but if it was a good movie, which he thinks it's a great movie, it's going to hit $2 billion. This thing didn't even make $100 million domestically in a 4-day weekend. That's not including the Thursday previews. It's already come in below what Solo made. Solo didn't even crack 400 million worldwide. And that dipshit thinks that, number one, that Star Wars has never been healthier, that it's never been in a better position, and that what we're receiving right now is peak Star Wars. And he's convinced that this movie is going to hit $1 billion, possibly $2 billion. Yeah, I'm going to press X to doubt on that. And maybe, move away from the windows and stop licking them, because there must be window lean or something on them. Like the statements he makes about this current era of Star Wars is like, did this guy think Star Wars started with The Force Awakens? Does he not know about, like, the original trilogy and the prequels and the extended universe and stuff? Does he think Star Wars only became a thing with Disney? It sounds that way. Like, when you're saying something like this movie, that, as you can see, is absolutely tanking at the box office, is better, and some of them have said, is better than The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, I don't think so. But, as we said, like, when you go from a headline that says it's set for 167 million debut, as everything's bigger than expected, then it goes down to it's opened with 100 million, all the way down to actually it's lower than expected and we had to change the numbers again. It's like, man, you really don't get it, do you? Here is obviously where it's tracking. This is how it's done. This right here is what they want to avoid. I can't get rid of that bloody thing. This part. This is about to start going like this. And you get what is fondly known as the sad whale. Because that's what it ends up looking like. This is a disaster. The international number right there, that is going to have to be incredibly worrying for Disney. And not just Disney. It's actually getting very worrying for a lot of these movies and stuff. And the excuses. They're trying to come up with all these excuses, and the excuses don't hold a candle to the real reason. The real reason the international audience is rejecting these movies is because they're sick of the pandering. They're sick of Star Wars. Everybody's sick of Star Wars. Both of these numbers prove that. Just like, this is your first Star Wars movie in 7 years. 7 years. Doesn't matter that it's not one of the episodic movies. It's your first Star Wars movie in 7 years. The buzz going around for this thing should have been through the roof. The excitement for this should have been through the roof. And nobody cared. And that reflects right there with the box office. But the international numbers for the last few big tentpole movies from the US, they've all been like this. The international numbers have been disasters. Because they're sick of it. They're sick of all the same shit being pumped out all the time. They're sick of remakes. They're sick of sequels. All of this stuff. Superman absolutely tanked internationally. And James Gunn's excuse wasn't that, well, maybe they just have actual superhero fatigue and they're sick of all these movies and they're sick of reboots and stuff like that. No, his excuse was, oh, well, the international audience doesn't really know who Superman is. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Everybody knows who Superman is. If I go up to the mall that's closest to me now, you're guaranteed to see at least 2 people with something of Superman on them. Whether it's a t-shirt, a backpack, a baseball cap. You're guaranteed that there'll be someone with Superman on them. And he tries to say, well, the international audience doesn't know who Superman is. What? Mandalorian and Grogu, it's a disaster. I think the drop off from week 1 to week 2 is probably going to be in the 70s. I really do. And then He-Man comes out, and that is going to destroy this thing. That will be this absolutely dead on arrival. And I have a theory about Ahsoka Season 2 being delayed and being pushed to next year. Because I think Lucasfilm saw the writing on the wall when it comes to this movie. And they are going to push to get this thing out of the cinemas and onto the streaming platform as quickly as possible. And because they're not going to want you to see the numbers be as bad as they are. And then they're probably going to say, well, we can't have a brand new Star Wars movie and a new series too close together. So they moved Ahsoka. That's my theory. I could be very wrong. I could be very right. But Mandalorian and Grogu, it's a box office disaster. Star Wars is dead. Congratulations, Disney. You finally did it. You murdered one of the most successful franchises in the history of cinema. Well done. What do you guys think? If you seen the movie, what did you think of it? If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. If you think it was just slop, say it was slop. Don't let anybody, don't let me sitting here saying it, like these numbers are shit, deter you away from if you legitimately enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. But let me know if you enjoyed it, if you hated it, if you've seen it, or more importantly, did you actually care about Star Wars anymore? Let me know. I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.